Get home from school, turn on my TV. Who are these friends staring right back at me? Now that we're old.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jessica, and this is 90s Babies Nostalgia, where two 90s babies are having some fun.
Just to be clear, we're not sponsored by nor affiliated with anything that we talk about ever. Not the streaming platforms, the production companies, the actors, nothing. We just like talking about pop culture. And today we are talking about Mean
Girls.
This is the 2024 musical movie released on Paramount Plus. This is an adaptation of the Broadway musical, which was an adaptation of the 2004 movie. We're not talking about the 2004 movie. If you want us to, let us know. And to all of our new listeners and viewers on YouTube from Young Royals, hi.
Hi.
We're so happy you're here. If you clicked on this, we have had the best time kicking with you. This is your official warning. We did not start out as a current media podcast. We delve into it because we enjoy it, and we will continue to do so on a fairly semi-regular basis. However, we are going to get back into what we call our 90s Babies Nostalgia classic content. So we're going to go into The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody soon. We hope that you stick around, whether you're there for the sweet life or you just dip your toes in when we're doing something you're interested in. We love having you around. We love talking to you.
Yeah, we really enjoy you. Stay a while. Before we get into the 2024 of it all, let's touch on 2004. When did you see the original Mean Girls?
This is for the listeners. I'm going to have a meltdown because I can't fake interactions. We recorded the first 14 minutes of this episode without recording it, and I'm losing my shit a little bit. And we had a very genuine conversation in which Jess learned my story for the first time, and I can't pretend that she doesn't know. So she knows.
Yeah.
But you listening don't know. So I'm still going to tell my story.
Yeah.
This
It's a good story.
This is why I can't do small talk, because when people ask me how I am, I have to answer.
Yeah, I also am similar. I hate when people are just like, oh, fine. And I'm like, no, never in my life am I just fine. I'm like 70 things at once, but it's never just fine.
100%. But no, but like when people use it as a greeting and they're just like, oh, hey, how are you? But they're not expecting an answer at all. Oh my God. Does my fucking head in. Anyway. So, the first time I saw Mean Girls, I don't recall, but I do know that my best friend at the time, we would regularly take movies from Blockbuster, and this was in a regular rotation. And so, it definitely was around the 2004, 2005 era. Like, we were young. We were in elementary school, which is when this came out. We were in 4th and 5th grade in 2004. We loved to play imaginary, like that's how young we were, right? Is that we would still play imaginary stuff. We would play around her backyard as spies, as if we were in Spy Kids. And I always had to be the biggest bitch in the world because I am the leading character. Like, I'm so sorry to all of my friends. I am the leading character.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always made her be my sidekick. Might be why she stopped being my friend in 7th grade. But when we played Mean Girls one time, I remember being like, I will let you have this one time. I don't actually remember if I let her be Regina or if I made her be Karen, but I was like, you're blonde. But I was happy to be Gretchen this one time because I thought she had the best line in the movie, which was, my dad, the inventor of toaster strudel.
Yep.
Because I feel like 2004 was also a toaster strudel peak. That was...
Oh, totally. Like, peak nostalgia food. Toaster strudel is up there.
We did not buy it at my house because it was the rich kid Pop-Tart, and we were not the rich kids, but my friend, they always had it in the freezer.
I had 2 busy working parents. We always had that shit stocked.
Nice. What about you? When's the first time you watched it?
So I was a little bit later to the game. This is one of the first PG-13 movies I ever watched, besides maybe Bring It On. The first time I watched it was in 8th grade when 2 of my friends realized that I had never seen it. And they were like, that's ridiculous. We need to go watch it right now. So instead of doing our homework after school, we pulled out the DVD and we watched it. And I loved it. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Getting loser, we're going shopping." And I quote this movie all the time on the regular. And I don't know if it just was not as big other places, but my husband never knows what I'm saying. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "It's Mean Girls. Like, how have you not seen Mean Girls? Like, what is going on here?"
I'm upset. Has he seen it?
You know, he tells me he has, but then when he starts to describe the plot, he starts saying "Bring It On." Like, he describes the plot of Bring It On, and I'm like, "No, that's Bring It On." And then I start to describe the plot of Mean Girls, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that." But I think probably like once. Like, it definitely was not like in his rotation.
Yeah, to be fair, he's not the target demographic.
Fair. Well, getting into it, Mean Girls, the 2004 version, was based on the book Queen Bees and Wannabes, written by Rosalind Wiseman. And that movie was directed by Mark Waters and written by Tina Fey. And then this version, the 2024 version, was based on the musical, which made its debut in DC in 2017, and then its Broadway debut a little bit later in April of 2018. It was really well received on Broadway, and it was nominated for 12 awards in the 72nd Tony Awards, including Best Musical.
Didn't win any of them.
No, did not win.
Credit to Miss Tina Fey, because she wrote the 2004 movie, she wrote the musical book, and she wrote the 2024 screenplay. So she is the vehicle behind this.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of her, so we know that she wrote the screenplay. She also produced the 2024 version, along with Lauren Michaels, who was a producer on the 2004 version, plus is the EP and creator of SNL, which I did not know, and Amanda gave me a very hard time about.
I didn't give you a very hard time. I just thought it was funny because I thought you just didn't care or something, but you just genuinely didn't know. And to me, I thought this was like common knowledge, but that's just because I've dated a man who cares about SNL and late night. Like, Lorne Michaels is like very famous for being the creator of SNL and continuing to EP it to this day. You know?
Yeah. It just wasn't a late night TV kid, you know?
I wasn't either. This is my ex-boyfriend. This is what men do to me. Okay? I didn't ask to watch John Mulaney's stand-up sets.
Honestly, Pop Capsule is like here yelling at you because they fucking love John Mulaney.
Oh, I do too. He's fine.
Oh,
I just didn't ask to watch it.
Sure.
It was like, we're gonna go chronologically every night, babe.
Oh, no. Do not sign me up for that. This version was directed by Samantha Jane and Arturo Perez Jr. It was composed by Jeff Richmond, who also composed the 2004 Mean Girls, as well as 30 Rock and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and also is married to Tina Fey. And then the lyricist is Nell Benjamin, who also did all the lyrics for the musical and then adapted them for this version.
Yeah, real quick, because the adaptation had to be shorter than the musical version. I think they cut like 14 songs, and then they changed a few of the lines or shortened, abbreviated some of the songs that are in there.
Yeah.
But they also wrote a couple new songs.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same as the musical version. This movie was originally gonna be streaming only, but after some test screenings, they were like, you know what, this is doing great. Let's release it theatrically. So they did so in New York City on January 8th, and then it was officially released on January 12th of this year. It grossed 104 million worldwide with a 36 million budget. I know we're still early, but that puts it at the 9th highest grossing film of this year. Also, I just thought it was important to note that it did top the box office charts for the first 3 weeks, and it's recorded that 75% of the audience was female, and over a third of them being elder Gen Z and millennials. Amanda asked, how did they know that? I don't know, feels creepy, but also they track everything, so.
Okay, getting into our actors and main characters.
Yes, we have Katie Heron, who is played by Andrea Rice, who was 23 and is known for Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home as the character Betty. Also, she was in the episode of Black Mirror that Miley Cyrus was in, and then more recently on Mayor of Easttown and The Last Thing He Told Me.
And she's Australian, which is my fun fact. It's not even that fun or that important. I just, every time that I watch non-American people be perfectly American, I'm stunned.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Miss Regina George, played by none other than lesbian icon Renee Rapp, who is 24. Just so you know, we're throwing in the ages for reference, but those are the ages they are now. So they were a couple years younger when they filmed. Renee Rapp was Regina in the Broadway musical. She was the one cast member from the stage musical that Tina Fey knew she wanted to bring back in a main role. She did not originate Regina. She came in September full-time of 2019 and then played Regina until the end of its run, which Mean Girls was shut down in mid-March of 2020 by COVID, and then was never reopened. She also plays Leighton Murray in Sex Lives of College Girls, but most notably now, she is just a pop artist to the point where she helped co-write one of the new songs that Katie sings, so not even one of Regina's songs. I love her. She's an icon. She's super gay. She's super hot. Janice Ian is now Janice Imiki. Is my best attempt at that, because she's no longer Lebanese. She's now played by Auli'i Cravalho, who is 23 years old. Her and Renee are both 2000 babies, and she is the fucking voice of Moana.
Crazy.
You don't often know the actors behind Disney animated movies, and when you do, they're people like Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel, who are like full-blown adults, and she was 15 voicing the titular character of her movie, which was nominated and won many Grammys, Oscars, Golden Globes, etc. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's wild.
She was also in Crush, which was a 2022 Hulu movie, and also she's openly bisexual. And my cousin met her one time, and I'm very jealous, at a frat party.
Well, if we're going on fun stories about her, I knew someone who was a Disney plaid, which are the people who do tours around Disneyland. And at the time that she was cast as Moana, she was the plaid for her.
Okay. Then we have Damien Hubbard, played by Jaquel Spivey. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He's 25. And I spent half of this movie thinking to myself, this man has the smoothest, butteriest voice. He sounds like Sam Smith. And then I was like, I know that voice too well. Sure fucking enough. He played Usher, the lead and pretty much only character in A Strange Loop, which was a Broadway musical for a couple of years that won the Tony for Best Musical in 2022 and had a Grammy nomination for Best Vocal Performance. Just such a talent.
Then we have Karen Shetty, played by Avantika Vandanapu, who's 19 currently. She was on an episode of Sex Lives of College Girls. She also executive produced Crown of Wishes and sold it to Disney Plus. And it's like Disney Plus's first Indian Hindu mythology-based series.
Slay.
And a lead in a 2021 DCOM called Spin.
Yeah, where she played an Indian girl who learned how to DJ.
Then we have Gretchen Wieners, who's played by Bebe Wood, who's 22, and she played Lake on Love Victor. And the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, how do I know this face? And that is why.
Aaron Samuels is played by Christopher Briney. There's no T. I was just hallucinating. He's 26 years old, and he originally turned down the role because he didn't want to sing, and they cut the songs or parts where he would sing. Okay. He's notable as playing Conrad in The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Then we have Miss Heron, who is Katie's mom, played by Jenna Fisher, who is most well known for Pam in The Office, but also for a bunch of other shit.
I didn't even recognize her until like halfway through the movie.
What?
Okay. I know. And then Mrs. George is played by Busy Phillips, who also has been in a bunch of stuff, but most notably as a teenage or young adult actress in Freaks and Geeks. She's Audrey in Dawson's Creek, White Chicks, Maid of Honor. He's just not that into you, Cougar Town. And I just really like that she has a very similar vocal fry to Renee.
Mm-hmm. I thought they made a good mom and daughter duo.
I agree. We had some cameos throughout from various aspects, which was fun to watch. Tina Fey reprises her role as Miss Norbury, Tim Meadows as Mr. Duval. Lindsay motherfucking Lohan appears at the end of the movie. I didn't even know she was in this movie until I was watching it. As the moderator of the Mathletes tournament, the studio asked Tina if she would bring back all 5 of the girls, and she was like, I don't have that many roles to give out. Let me bring back Lilo, because it was her movie at the end of the day. John Hamm from Mad Men plays Coach Carr. Megan Thee Stallion and Jazz Jennings both play themselves repeatedly. There are also various TikTokers throughout this. I don't know TikTokers that well. And Ashley Park plays the French teacher. Ashley Park originated the role of Gretchen Wieners on Broadway.
Getting into our summary, we're going to breeze through this as fast as we can because we are sure you know the plot. We open up and Damien and Janice are recording on a cell phone, singing the song A Cautionary Tale, which kind of sets up the overall story that's about to be told about Katie and the plastics and teases all the events to come.
And the tone, because it's very funny. Like, people die. No one dies. Then we get to see this like weird little shot of Africa where Katie's singing what ifs about how she feels trapped. And then her mom's like, psych, I took that job. We're moving to Chicago. So she goes to Chicago and Mr. Duval introduces her as Caddy Heron. And we get a montage of her like feeling out of place. This actually felt more drawn out than the 2004 movie to me, where she was like not fitting in her classes, not having a place to sit, feeling weird. She goes to eat in the bathroom and Janice and Damien seek her out. They're like, we've been watching you. You're now with us. And then while they're showing her through all the cliques in the cafeteria, Regina shows up and has her big My Name is Regina George, I'm a big fucking deal song, and calls Katie over and says, why don't I know you? You're going to eat with us for the next week.
And Katie's unsure, but Janice is like, go along with it, spy on them, I need dirt. And so later on, Katie is in AP Calculus. She locks eyes with Aaron Samuels, and we kind of see her crush on him start to form.
And she gets a song.
Yeah, she does. Kind of a cute song, too. Then I think bad at math. No.
She's good at math because she's bad at love.
Bad at love, good at math, yes. The plastics are talking Katie through all the rules that are required to keep sitting with them. And then Gretchen and Karen are like, okay, so are you interested in anyone? Like, who do you have the hots for? And she's like, Aaron. And they're like, nope, off the table, off limits. He is Regina's ex, like, no way. And later on, she tells Damien and Janice that she also has a crush on Aaron. And they're like, nope, this would be horrible if Regina were to find out. And then they sing this song about her being the apex predator.
Katie goes to Regina's house and Mrs. George, the cool mom, pulls out the burn book, throws it around, is like, hey, wasn't this so fun? And so they just like go through the pages of the book and she makes that comment about Damien is too gay to function. And they're like, put that in there. And it's kind of noted that Janice is the pyro les, and they say that she tried being friends with Regina, but then she set her backpack on fire because she was obsessed with her. And it's like, huh?
Then we learn Katie's been talking to Aaron more and asking for his help in class, and he invites her to the Halloween party, and Katie shows up dressed as Scary and immediately realizes she should have dressed slutty because that is the only option, which has the best musical number, which I agree, from the movie Sexy. Gretchen tells Regina that Katie likes Aaron, so she's like, you know what, I'll go talk to him for you, like, let me see what I can do. And she tells Aaron that Katie has a cute crush on him, but then she's like, but this is so hard for me to share because I have all these unresolved feelings from how our relationship ended.
Trauma, actually.
Yes, she does use the word trauma. Then she sings Someone Gets Hurt, which is about how it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And it's kind of like a song that's saying how she's going to win Aaron back, or implies that she's going to win him back. And at the end of the song, they end up kissing.
Katie leaves the party and crashes Damien and Janice's movie night, where she infamously, it's very similar to the original, is like, you know, she's been on the fence up until now with this spying thing, but she's like, that bitch kissed the boy that I like. And they're like, she's a skank and she's the worst. And so Damien tells her about what really happened between Janice and Regina, which obviously is more nuanced than what Regina had told her. And they have a whole very cheerful song compared to the tone of the rest of the scene called Revenge Party, which is an infamous song about how they're going to get revenge against Regina officially.
In order to get revenge, Katie starts doing different things, which includes failing math to spend more time with Aaron. She also gives Regina Caltine bars to make her gain weight. They get to a point where kind of the plan to break Regina is like slows down in progress. So they're like, okay, we need to get tea on Regina. And in order to get tea, we need to crack Gretchen. So Katie sends candy cane grams to all of the plastics from Regina besides for Gretchen. And this makes Gretchen really upset. And so she tells her all of Regina's secrets, and Katie records it on her phone. And one of these secrets is that she is cheating on Aaron with Shane Peck, I think. And so she goes and tells Aaron about the cheating.
The plastics prepare for Rockin' Around the Pole, which is the Broadway and 2024 version of Jingle Bell Rock. The dance at Regina's house, and she doesn't care. She's upset because she has a big zit because Katie and Janice replaced her face cream with lard, which is incredible. And also because Aaron broke up with her. Like, these two things are compounding, and she's freaking out, and she doesn't care about the performance. So then during the performance, Regina straight up, she goes to do this like assisted cartwheel, and she falls. She slams face first onto the auditorium stage with her ass out for everyone to see. So it goes viral on socials. Crazy. Katie, Janice, Damien are all together, and they're like, you can quit being plastic now. And she's like, I just need one more lunch. And during this lunch, Regina walks up, having been ridiculed. She's in her sweatpants, and it's the infamous, like, you can't sit with us, you're in sweatpants, except this time Gretchen says it first, and then Katie is in full Regina, like, mannerisms and costumes, saying, like, the rules are the rules, like, you can't sit with us. And also, Katie gets nominated for Sprinkling Queen, as do all of the other plastics.
Janice is excited for her art show over the weekend, but Katie's like, I can't go. I have plans with my mom. We're traveling out of town. It's been planned for forever. Later, Gretchen and Karen are like, okay, girl, what's our plans for the weekend? And Katie's like, why the fuck does everyone keep on asking me what I'm doing this weekend? And they're like, you should get out of your plans with your mom, because if she's out of town, then we'll have the house for the weekend and we can throw a party. So that's exactly what she does. The party gets a little out of hand. She gets so wasted because Karen just keeps giving her shots. And she finds Aaron in a room looking at childhood photos of her, and they start to talk. And then she admits, like, you know, I've been pretending this whole time to be bad at math just to get your attention. And he gets really upset and is like, you are literally Regina's clone, and leaves the party. And then Janice shows up and is like, you literally held a party, didn't invite me, and also didn't go to my art show. Like, you are a terrible friend.
Regina's at home on the treadmill while all these kids are partying, and her mom is like, why the fuck are you eating these Caltine bars? Which apparently she didn't notice for a month Regina had been eating, and tells her finally that these are meant for people to gain weight. So Regina has a moment to herself where she sings a reprise of her song, takes the burn book, does her little altering, goes to the school, leaves it on the floor. Instead of doing the paper copies, all
Copy.
of the students pick it up and start posting shit on socials, so it blows up online, and the students get called into the gymnasium for an assembly. Mr. Duval quickly tries to lead it and is like, absolutely not, I can't do this. Miss Norbury, you're gonna take this one. And she's like, you fucking owe me, you slut. She doesn't use that word. That's a me thing. Sorry.
No.
That's not to
She
slut.
actually kisses him on the mouth and is like, see you later for dinner.
I don't remember them kissing, but anyway. I know he has to walk the dogs for a week. So they do the whole thing where they like, who's been victimized, and like, let's write apologies on paper and let's do trust falls. And Janice has her kick ass like, I'm so sorry, my friend and I ruined your life, except she's actually not apologizing to Regina in this one. She says, I'm sorry to myself for wasting my time and getting duped again. And so Regina leaves the gymnasium in a storm. Katie follows after her. Regina gets hit by a bus. And we see it this time. I don't think we saw it in 2004, but we see her get hit by the bus this time.
Then later on in AP Calc, Katie owns up to writing a lie about Miss Norbury being a drug pusher in the burn book, and she gets a 3-week suspension. Once she's back at school, Miss Norbury's giving her a hard time, and she's like, you are failing math. We needed someone on the mathletes team, so you need to do this for extra credit. Also, Aaron welcomes her back. I guess he's not upset that she's a Regina clone anymore. And during the mathlete competition, during the final rounds, after a tie, Katie answers correctly and wins with "the limit does not exist," just like the original film.
I have to say, the Erin Samuels thing, it's because she gets a high score on her test, and he says, welcome back, nerd. And I only have to point it out because it's the hottest thing he's ever said. At the spring fling, after the mathletes, Katie runs into Regina in the bathroom, and she's all hopped up on pain meds, so they have like a fun little kiki, because Regina's like, no hard feelings, you didn't push me, the bus pushed me. And also, I'm on a lot of pain meds, so I like you, and I like everybody else. Shane wins Spring Fling King, Katie wins Queen, and gives her speech that's entirely unnecessary, and breaks up her little crown and gives it to people, and apologizes to her friends for treating them like crap. Katie and Aaron dance, they kiss. The end!
The end!
I don't think this one didn't get the like new plastic scene at the end the way that we got in 2004. Okay.
No, it doesn't do like a flash forward to like she's back to just hanging out with Janice and Damien, and there's the new plastics rolling the school.
Okay. Things we gotta talk about. Favorite moments. This is so random. This is so beside the point, but I couldn't tell what name someone said at one point, and I realized that Tina has a specific name type she likes, because there's an Erin, it's Katie Heron, there's a Karen, even Gretchen. Like, there's a lot of N names.
I would have never noticed that. But yes, you are right.
I really liked that there were blatant comparisons between Janice and Regina in this one. I think one of the charms of the musical is that it's kind of camp. It's very self-aware in a way that the original movie isn't necessarily. The original movie is more show, don't tell, whereas this is, I'm going to tell you. A lot of exposition. And so in the songs early on, Damien will compare like, Janice is great, but Regina has the real power. And I just thought that's like an interesting dichotomy of like, they're both similar people, just on different ends of the popularity spectrum.
They're both kind of like natural leaders, but just, yeah.
And I do think that both of the actresses that play them have that natural charisma and attention to the space more than the rest of the cast do.
Yes. Small moment, but on her first day of school, Katie is told in one of her classes to find a seat in class, and there literally is no seats, and the teacher just repeats himself and is like, find a seat. So she sits on the floor, and I just have to say, I feel like this is a semi-accurate representation of the American public school system.
I agree. Although I was kind of like, girl, I wasn't convinced that there was no seat to be found.
I mean, from what we see of the classroom, all the seats are full. Also, we learn that there's a state-mandated course on abstinence, which also is an accurate representation of the American public school system, and I hate it.
I didn't have that.
It hasn't been a thing in California for a while, but many states still do teach abstinence as the main form of
Sexual health.
of sexual health and pregnancy prevention, but that's not the word that I want to use. But yes, instead of teaching about like condoms and all the different things and birth control, they just, abstinence is taught as the like end all to be all of birth control.
I thought that it was fun. Gretchen's still trying to make fetch happen, but instead of saying that it's like slang from Britain, she says, I think it's from a really old movie. And then she's like, maybe Juno, which is actually 3 years younger than the original Mean Girls. It's from 2007.
No, 3 years older.
Younger than the original Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that as well. Also, okay, Janice's makeup artist deserves raise and praise. Her makeup, I wanted every single eye look that she had. Like the jewels, the sparkly shadow, like every single scene. I was like, oh my God, this is a new makeup look and it looks better than the one I saw last.
But it wasn't too different. It was a cohesive look for the character.
Yeah, and us knowing that she's like very artsy in her character, all of it really fit in with what you would see Janice wearing, but it was different than the 2004 movie. I don't remember Janice having these like iconic, beautiful glam looks.
No, she was a goth with like thick eyeliner.
Yeah.
That's one of my notes later on, but I really love the way the styling has been adapted for what the current generations would be looking at, which is a huge thing of these adaptations, but it's for my notes for later.
It's also very impressive to think that Tina Fey has, had such a huge impact on all of this, knowing that she's like even older than us, but she's still able to adapt things to a younger generation.
Absolutely.
Really speaks to her creativity as a writer. And a creative. I really struggled with this choice of actor as Aaron Samuels because all I could see was Conrad. Every single time he was on the screen, I was like, this is just not giving me the same feelings of our like, oh my God, he's so hot. Look how cute he is in the 2004 film. Like, I was just like, this is just Conrad.
I agree, except I've seen one episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty, so it wasn't I see Conrad. It was, I know this face, I don't love this face, I'm bored of this face. It's not giving Aaron Samuels glam. It's not giving your hair is sexy pushed back. And in general, to me, I'm so sorry to the actor. You're never going to see this. He gives Dollar Store Jacob Elordi. Like, okay. Am I wrong?
Here's the thing. I don't hate the actor as Conrad. He's just not Aaron Samuels. And yes, now that I'm looking at Jacob Elordi, he does give Dollar Store Jacob Elordi. Oh, gosh.
Also, you know what I really would have loved is if they had cast age appropriately, but an openly gay actor. Because there are now, at the time, it was very much like straight people taking gay roles, but there are now some gay actors who play straight roles. I mean, there always have been, but now there's like open ones, people who are out. I would have loved that just because the actor who played the original Aaron Samuels is gay.
There is this one point when Katie admits that she's been pretending to be bad at math to get Aaron's attention and have him help her. And Janice is like, why are you dumbing yourself down for a boy? And like that would have never been written into the original version, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, this is part of the explicit telling of it, which I think is more theatrical. I loved a lot of those moments, and I think it was clearer in this adaptation how unsocialized Katie is, because she's explaining this as like, I've just been looking for ways to talk to Aaron and I don't know what to say. So isn't it so funny? I did this thing where like I pretended to be bad. And Janice is like, yeah, of course it worked. It works every time because this is a societal thing.
Yes.
She really like grew up in fucking Sahara, Africa. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a side throwaway thing where Gretchen says she doesn't mind Regina yelling at her ever since she learned that Regina's love language is anger. And I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, in the closet, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we gotta talk about the song Sexy. This is Karen's Halloween song. It is the best song. It is amazing. I was dying the whole time. The actor that plays Karen does a phenomenal job of this like new portrayal of Karen, and I just like loved her portrayal of Karen. But this song, I wrote down some of the lyrics because I loved it. If I could change the world, I'd make it Halloween every single day and also have world peace.
That's how it starts. And then she goes, wait a second. I should probably do it the other way. And then goes through a whole meditation on how to phrase it.
I can be a sexy doctor and cure some sexy cancer. I can cure sex cancer. This is modern feminism talking. I expect to run the world in shoes I cannot walk in. I just loved this song.
That's so good. And this is, if you know anything about this movie, it's probably that this song is popular, because I was hearing that a lot of the reviews and critics have said like mixed reviews on the movie, but like this song and this performance of it really captivated audiences. It's so good. It's just such a fun song.
Yeah, like I would go back and just watch that part of the movie. Like it was that enjoyable.
I feel like that song needs to be on like my gym rotation.
In the 2004 version, we get this part where everyone starts cutting like holes around in their shirts so their bra pokes through because Regina does it and everyone does what Regina does.
Well, because Katie does it. Katie and Janice do it to Regina as a prank, and then she just goes and walks around with it.
Yes. And in this one, we see Regina with like crying mascara face. And so everyone starts having crying mascara face. And then we see it as a TikTok filter as well. And I liked that this is really bringing it modern in so many ways, that instead of just being like, oh, we're going to do what we did last time, but a little different, they also found ways to be like, okay, it's not just that everyone would be doing it, it's that it then would be applied to socials as well.
And this is actually a huge part of the musical. Like the musical on Broadway always took place in the social media age.
Yes.
Which obviously the 2004 movie did not. That's around the time social media started. And I think this is really interesting and intelligent. I think social media scares a lot of people with storytelling. I personally struggle with my own storytelling and placing it in a setting because social media is not inherently romantic, and the immediacy of everything makes it harder to build suspense. But in the Broadway musical, they never shied away from it. They always adapted to the modern demographic, and they would have like big screens come down and flashing pictures. And then they did that also in the movie with the TikTokers coming on and with the kids using socials to spread information without making it as glaring. It's just like because I've seen all three, each one has been slightly modified for whichever generation is in high school. And I, in a really smart way, that I like commend Tina for not shying away from that.
Yeah, the elements that they chose to include, I was like, this is clever, smart, but also very realistic.
You wrote this note, but it was one of my notes as well. There's the talent show, right? Where they're gonna sing the slutty Christmas song, but it opens up with the most extra fucking performance. It's black and white, and Damien singing in French with his buttery, delightful voice. And you don't know that this is the talent show. You don't see anybody. You just see a black and white performance of him singing in French with the captions at the bottom of the words that he's singing. Did you recognize the song before they said what it was?
No.
I knew that I knew it, but I didn't know what it was because I didn't read the first ones because I was taking notes. But I read Leave It All to Me, and I was like, wait a second. And then Mr. Duval thanks him for his French rendition of the iCarly theme song.
Oh, so good.
It's so fucking funny, and it definitely feels very Damien coded.
So Damien coded. I will take it over him being booed off stage in the 2004 version.
I
Like this,
forgot.
yeah, this just seems so much more camp, so much more fun, and throwing in some nostalgia there. I just loved it.
And you did it for extra credit.
Yeah.
Multitask. When they're getting ready for the spring fling, there's a montage of them getting ready, and there's this moment where Karen's eating a grilled cheese and she gets a little bit on her face and realizes that it's like shiny, and then she uses the grilled cheese as a highlighter.
I think Karen might be my favorite character in this version. Like, it's just the things that she does are just so good.
She was my favorite character in the original, and I think
Okay.
she's also my favorite now. In the discussion of the elevation of the characters,
Yeah.
Janice's thing with Regina in the first one was that Regina thought Janice had a crush on her, and she has that whole like, I guess I just have a big lesbian crush on you moment. But then at the end, dances with Kevin G, and it's never known what her sexuality actually is. And it's like very 2004 that the worst thing you could do is like say spread rumors that someone's a lesbian. But their battle in this one is that she is gay. She came out.
Yes.
Regina used that against her to then be like, oh my God, she's so obsessed with me, and steal her little plushie that had her flag on. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to be so honest. I didn't pay full attention to that story to begin with. She is out and a lesbian, and she even goes to the spring fling with a girl.
I didn't catch that.
Oh my God, it's seen multiple times. She goes to her house and picks her up, and then they walk in together.
Cute.
And Damien
was I
goes with like a group
doing?
of other girls.
What was I doing? I must have been taking notes. That's so cute.
Yeah, it made me really happy.
Yeah, I love that.
Another thing that happens at the spring fling is Gretchen gets a great moment for herself because her like on and off boyfriend Jason has been cheating on her, which was kind of in the 2004 one, but it was very much like an afterthought, and was in this one a little more explicitly. And he shows up. First of all, I don't know why is she wearing this like weird confetti wig? I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
She's wearing this weird sparkler wig, and he comes up approaching her as if he does not know who she is, and is like, we could, whatever. And she breaks up with him and says, I have an IQ of 140 and I'm freaking fetch and have parents who love me and you don't deserve me, and breaks up with him. And I just liked that she got a moment to grow as a person.
And to like that moment that we actually see her like step up too.
It kind of, I think what she got in the 2004 was she was like integrated in with the Chinese kids. She wasn't Asian, obviously, but she was like smart enough to be speaking Chinese with them. That kind of felt like that nod of like, she is actually smart. She's just,
Yeah.
Also, the parents who love me comment made me laugh because it's like she's saying like, I don't have daddy issues. I don't need to be treated like this.
Yeah. Katie, during her scene where she throws her crown at a bunch of people, she is throwing it on stage to Karen and to Gretchen, and then she throws it to Regina, and Regina like sticks her hand out, but it just like slides past her and she doesn't catch it. And it was just beautiful.
Renee does a great job of reaching her hands out like a full 2 seconds too late. I loved this throwaway that Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval are together.
I loved that too.
It was so cute. Also, some of the dumb as hell language made me laugh. Like, some of the new jokes were so funny. Like, in her line, she refers to calculus.
Yeah.
Calculus. Ridiculous. Also, Kevin G didn't disappoint. He had some good lines. He nicknames Katie Golf Bird because caddy, golf, heron, bird. Golf bird. And repeatedly throughout the movie calls her that. It's so good. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I think it did a really, really good job at like keeping up the dumbness of the 2004 film, because it is dumb. Like, it is a dumb movie. A lot of the lines are dumb. A lot of the premise is dumb. Like, there is just a lot of that. But then adding the musical elements that make it a little bit more camp, while still delivering like more modern versions of these characters, it was really funny. Like, it was a fun watch.
I would say each iteration of this is a smart story told with dumb humor.
Yeah.
And that's something that changed in this version, but was never that bad to begin with, is it's inoffensive. It's
Yep.
just dumb. And that's my favorite kind of humor.
Yeah,
Is
me
you're
too.
just being a silly guy who's not offending anyone. Some things that we didn't love.
Yeah.
Minor rant. Okay, I couldn't see the equation this time. It didn't bother me. Also, I have forgotten all of my calculus because I took AP Calc my junior year of high school. I was 17. It was at 7:20 in the morning. I missed so many classes that I got a truancy warning letter. But I did take it and I did pass my AP exam. And what always bothered me about the 2004 movie is that freaking the limit does not exist moment, because it is the most simple, it is the fundamental equation of limits. It's like the first thing I learned in AP Calc and the only thing I retained for the longest time is that you
Mm.
could not have a limit of, I don't even remember what it is anymore. It's like 0 or something. It really bothers me because it's
Mm.
not smart. It's, if anything, it's like really dumb on that other girl for not knowing.
I would argue it's smart because I never took AP Calc and I don't think I ever learned limits.
That's fine. That was unnecessary. Let's get into your real notes.
One thing that I had a problem with, I feel like the 2004 film builds up the relationship and friendship with Damien, Janice, and Katie before we then see her being welcomed into the plastics. So we kind of know more like why Damien and Janice want to get revenge against Regina, and we kind of understand the dynamic between them. But this, it's like Damien and Janice are like, we will take you under your wing. And then literally next scene, Regina's like, come sit with us. Like, Katie doesn't really have a friend group yet. So it just feels weird that she would keep up the friendships with both of them because it's just not really established.
It's also kind of weird because at the time they're saying, who do you belong with?
Yeah.
I did like at the end of this, at the spring fling, she apologizes to the friends that she hurt, but it's not just Janice and Damien. She looks specifically at Karen and Gretchen. She's acknowledging that all of them are friends of hers.
Yep.
But I agree that I was watching this like, are Janice and Damien her friends though? Like they give her shit for not being a good friend to them, but are they good friends to her? And I think I would need to rewatch the 2004 one because I don't remember it being that different.
Yeah. I guess just in my memory, which I agree with you, maybe if I were to rewatch, this opinion would change. But in my memory, they established that connection between the three of them a little bit more before we get into the plastic plot of it all, where this, it all kind of happened at once.
It did all happen at once.
These are just more general movie, not plot specific points. I have a couple thoughts on the fact that this movie received poor reviews. This version received poor reviews, wasn't well received by critics. It was not well received by just the general public. And I think there are many reasons. One of them being that all the promotional material left out that this was a musical. The trailer didn't have any songs. And so many people really went into watching it with the belief that it was a true remake of the 2004 film. And so I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot there. Like they should have been a little bit more honest. I get that they were trying to get people to go to the movies to watch this. And if you let people know it's a musical, people are less inclined to go watch things. That is just facts. But still,
I have thoughts about this because I distinctly remember this and The Color Purple both coming out around the same time and both having that criticism that neither of their trailers really advertised that it was a musical. And my friend felt like Mean Girls was the bigger betrayal because she was like, well, I know that The Color Purple is a musical. And I was like, well, I know that Mean Girls is a musical and I always knew that this was an adaptation of the musical. And to me, I know that The Color Purple is a book. So who am I to say that this is going to be a musical adaptation or not? I guess it's just weird to me because maybe it's that I'm so chronically online, but I just don't expect that the majority of the people going to this don't know what it is, because I knew like years ago that this was in the works and that it was always going to be an adaptation of the Broadway show. And that Renee Rapp was going to play Regina and that she was on Broadway. Like, it feels lazy. And I think the main people giving that criticism, if it's the actual critics, it's probably because they're all like Gen X and weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I think it's more complicated than what you're saying. I do think that, yes, if people looked into it, maybe they would have known. Also, musical fans knew. I was aware that it was a musical version. However, a podcast was done, Vox's daily podcast that they do. It's slipping the general title, but if Vox's daily podcast that they did one at the beginning of the year about movie musicals. I would highly recommend going to listen to that if you want to hear more on this generic topic, but it touches on why all of these musicals like The Color Purple and Mean Girls, and there was a couple other, got made this year and in the last year because they were all signed off during the pandemic around the time that Hamilton was such a success on Disney Plus. And so people thought that there was a lot of money around doing this, and then it turned out that there really wasn't. So then they all pivoted and strategically chose not to show in promotional materials that this was a musical as a way to dupe people into watching it. So I do think it was an active choice by studios to try to dupe people out of knowing.
It would have to be an active choice to not include numbers in the trailer. Like, I agree with that. I just think that most of the audience going should kind of know, but I am chronically online.
Yeah. Other thing I wanted to know is another reason I think that maybe people reviews are not as great, but it's just a critique that I have is I'm all for making musicals more accessible, but we shortened a 2.5 hour stage show to be the length of a feature film, which Amanda mentioned earlier, meant they had to cut out a bunch of songs, rework a bunch of songs. And like the beauty of things like Hamilton and why it was so successful is they were just showing the musical, and that's why people loved it. And so this is not the musical. So I think people who were maybe musical fans who went and watched this were also disappointed because they were like, where were my favorite songs?
I do have to say, for the number of songs that they cut out, it did not change the runtime enough for me. It's a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
It was
150.
too long. It was too long.
Really small note, but when Katie comes over to Regina's house, Miss George goes and makes the girls snacks and then brings it up to them for them to eat the snacks. But then when they kick her out of the room, she takes all the snacks with her, and I would be so pissed.
I was confused by that. I felt like there must have been a point to it. Like, she must have been referencing something, or it was like these girls don't eat because of their figures or something. But I couldn't get the point. I was just like, why?
I lost
Or maybe
the
she was
point.
like so depressed that she like needs, because she was like, these are the best years of your lives, girls, don't forget it. And like, what, like she was gonna eat them all. I couldn't tell.
It just felt weird to like make a point of saying, oh, I'll go make you girls snacks, coming up in the room with these delicious looking snacks on a tray and then taking them with her. I was like, how rude. Not the Mathletes competition being sponsored by SeatGeek.
What is SeatGeek?
It's like a concert ticket / ticket resale website like StubHub.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, I hate all these blatant sponsored call outs in new shows and old shows. But this one, I was like, oh my God, we literally announced it. Like, this is ridiculous.
My note like that is the elf branding.
Oh, yeah.
There's a point where Damien asks what shade of lipstick Katie's wearing, and she recites it's like "Oh, Face by Elf," something like that. And then there's the bathroom scene with Regina. She's like she drops her lipstick, and it's an elf one. I'm like, Regina George would not be using elf. Like, respectfully,
No.
elf is a good brand, but it's affordable. Therefore, like, if you can't buy it at Sephora, she's not using it.
Yep, totally.
It was just very blatant.
Yes, they were not subtle in their branding.
There was a lot of breaking the fourth wall. Do you feel like that's a theater thing, or did that feel like a specific stylistic thing for this?
I feel like a little bit of both. It felt like a choice, but it does happen in theater a lot. Like, you will have characters that are designed just to break the fourth wall. Like, that is their point.
I mean, there's a lot of looking dead on the camera. I didn't love that so much. I felt like Renee was like looking at the camera all the time, but obviously intentionally.
Yeah.
When they're doing their apologies, there's a point where someone's like, I apologize for saying you were dragging during Revenge Party. It's just a really big number with a lot, like they're like commenting as if this performance actually happened
Yes.
within the world.
Yeah, which I don't know if I love that. That feels a little too, I don't know.
Blatant.
Yeah.
It's very tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
It really didn't hit until this movie. One of the best plots in modern cinema is over a boy. I think the 2004 version really felt more about friendship to me, and this one felt less so. And I don't know if that's because of how it was truncated. I didn't necessarily feel that way when I saw it on stage, but so much of this was like about her having a crush on Aaron, and Aaron had no personality at all.
Yeah. Again, maybe this is what deems us doing a rewatch of the 2004 one, but yes, I completely agree. That feels more friendship focused, where there's even a line in this one where like she's like, oh, we're going to do all this revenge on Regina, and in the end, I get Aaron back. Like, that is her goal. She doesn't care about helping Janice get her revenge on this person that hurt her. Like, what is important to Katie is Aaron.
Even though in this one, she knows more about what Regina did.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't love that.
We touched on liking the use of socials for modernizing it, and I did like it. But what I didn't love was like some of the TikTokers. I didn't recognize a lot of them, but there were a couple that I did recognize that are like actually popular TikTokers, and multiple moments of Megan Thee Stallion. That felt a little too much for me. That bothered me more than the fourth wall breaking.
I guess I also viewed it in like a Megan Thee Stallion probably getting offered this was like, oh my god, yes, let me do a cameo in Mean Girls, because it probably is nostalgic to her, maybe.
And she's everywhere. She's all over the socials, and she has a song with Renee Rapp that plays in the credits. And Renee Rapp loves her, and I love her. I just felt weird, but I also have this thing that I've mentioned before that I don't like when, like, to me, if I'm watching a movie, even if it takes place in our world, it's in another universe of our world. So having famous people from our world in that movie as themselves really bothers me. Like, if Megan Thee Stallion has a song with Renee Rapp at the end of this, and Renee Rapp is playing Regina George, then how can Megan Thee Stallion be Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah. I know you have a problem with that. I forgot what we watched where you mentioned that, but yeah.
I don't know. Did Katie switch to overnight for you? Because for me, it felt kind of like sudden.
So I thought it made sense timing wise. I think it took like a few days to see her kind of ramp up into a true plastic. I find it funny that you mention this, because one of the biggest critiques when I was reading like critic reviews of the movie to prep for this episode was that they thought Katie did not switch enough.
I thought that she went full Regina. I thought she went like innocent Katie the whole time, and that was too long, and then she went full Regina.
Yeah, there are moments like that moment where they tell her you can't sit with us, and she's like in the middle of Karen and Gretchen. It felt maybe a little bit too much. I'm like, oh, you really are becoming her, but in a way that you haven't done yet. Like, we haven't seen you come up to this level yet. And now you're just owning it.
My last thing that I didn't love was that Mr. Duval has a line about no vaping at the spring fleeing. And I would like that if it weren't for the fact that it called out that I haven't seen any vaping in this movie up until now, and I don't. And if I had, then it wouldn't be weird. But because I didn't, I was like, wait, if this is really like a modern teenage school, like there would be vaping.
Yes.
Not that teenagers should be vaping, because I am very much against that. I'm very much against vaping, full stop. But yeah, it was weird.
Especially because we get a lot of scenes of like outside shots of the school and things like that like it could have easily been thrown in that the teenagers are vaping. And
or
it
the
would have
parties.
fit. Yeah. A few fun facts, notes that I wanted to mention. Lindsay Lohan was paid $500K for her cameo, which feels crazy.
Yeah, but she deserves it. And it was actually pretty long.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree. Like, she probably had to be on set for a full day, is my guess, maybe two, but still felt I was like, dang, $500K. Like some of these side actors that probably filmed the whole time were paid that.
Yeah, but it's Lilo.
Sure. This was nominated for Queerty for Best Comedy Film, which I thought was fun. And then I wanted to note that the streaming version was edited to remove a line from Megan Thee Stallion. So in her little cameo in the original film, she said Y2K Firecrotch is back. And Lindsay Lohan, when she watched it, was offended that they included that since the term firecrotch was used in so much media against her in the early 2000s and was like really used to like insult her and tear her down. And so they ended up editing it for the streaming version.
Shout out Ginger Rights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll get into our quotes before we do our full wrap up.
Regina asks, she's like, what percentage of calories from fat in her yogurt? And Karen goes, there's no way of knowing. Gretchen goes up to Katie and is like, I made you a Spotify playlist so you could catch up on culture.
That's something you would do.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote LM because I'm sure there were others that I would have noticed if I had paid more attention, but the album that popped out from that playlist was Leah Michelle's album. And I was like, this is so inaccurate. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm one of 5 people that's listened to that album. It is on my iPhone, okay? Don't judge me. You're fine. It's fine. You could judge me. But no one would put that on there.
Yeah, no. I didn't even catch that, but like I have never listened to that album. When they're talking about why Regina and Aaron broke up, Gretchen is like, well, someone told him about Shane. And Karen goes, do you think it was Santa?
She has so many good lines.
I don't remember who said this, but I know it's towards the end of the film, and it's even the people you don't like are people who just want to coexist, so get off their dicks. And I feel like this is just a PSA for everyone.
I don't know who said it either, but I kind of feel like it might have been Regina on the Painkillers.
Yeah, but it's so true. Like, we just all want to coexist.
Ms. George, Regina's mom, when Katie comes to the house for the first time, says, we haven't had any new meat in our little lady taco in so long.
Yes.
Which is so wrong on multiple levels.
It's pretty fucked up, but it's hilarious.
One of the smart, pointed ways that I liked of the explicitness of the language in this one is there's that famous scene in the 2004 movies where they're like, ugh, my pores are so big, my whatever, like they're looking at all their imperfections in the mirror, and Katie's like, I have really bad breath when I wake up. But this time when they're doing it and they all look at her for something, she goes, ugh, me too, I'm ugly too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
When Katie is telling Damien and Janice about how she's acting dumb for Aaron and it works, Janice goes, fracking works.
Yeah.
As an environmentalist, I fucking loved that.
Yeah, so good.
At the Halloween party, when Katie is dressed scary and Gretchen's explaining that everyone needs to be slutty, she says, by not dressing slutty, you're slut-shaming us.
That was one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
So good.
At Katie's party, Gretchen asks Jason, what are you thinking about? Chicken wings later. Do you ever think about me? Sometimes. But I'm looking right at you. I'm like, so funny. They really made him dumb.
Dumb, but also like, girl, why are you pawning after him? She doesn't really try that hard.
Damien, before telling Katie about Regina and Janice's history, he says, like all history, this is emotionally layered and culturally dense.
Mm-hmm.
My little historian heart loved that line because facts.
Yep.
Regina spits straight fire when she's on her pain meds. She tells Katie, don't apologize for things that aren't your fault.
Which we all could use that advice.
I tell people that all the time. When my friends apologize to me, I tell them, don't you ever apologize to me again. And then also in that same conversation, she goes, you know what they'd call me if I was a boy? And Katie says, strong. And she goes, Reginald. And it's this whole point about, like, she'd rather be called a bitch. But it's just really funny.
Yeah, it was really good.
Overall, as a whole, Jess, what did you think of this? Especially because you hadn't seen the musical.
Yeah, I haven't seen the musical. I love a movie to musical rendition. Like, I love Legally Blonde, the musical. So I had a feeling I would love this. And I did. My hopes were low because reviews were not that great, I was like, maybe this really is bad, because even people who were like, it was okay, still had a lot of bad things to say about it. And I thought it was fantastic. It was so fun. I loved it. I agree with you. It did run a little long, but I wasn't upset at how long it went. I really, really enjoyed it. I would watch it again. How about you?
I enjoyed it. Ran a little long. Won't watch it again super soon, but I would watch it again, and I will definitely be watching the Halloween number again. You texted me right after watching it, being like, I'm so glad that you suggested that we do this, because I wouldn't have watched it otherwise, but I really enjoyed it. And I
Yeah.
was like so glad.
And that was all based on like, yeah, reviews and just what I heard about it. I was like, oh, I don't need to go out of my way to watch this. But I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did. Don't listen to other people, guys. Go watch it.
Yeah, also just remember, like, most of those reviewers are not the demographic that movies are made for anymore.
Sure.
My biggest takeaway when I watched this movie was that this was a movie made with such love and reverence and respect for both the source material and for the fans. And I think that really shone through in the intentions and attention to the cast, because they brought in multiple Broadway stars with Renee and with Damien's actor, but they also brought in the cameos from the Broadway cast, the cameos from the original movie. They brought in people from all different aspects of the Mean Girls franchise. And I just thought that they did such an incredible job.
Yeah. I thought it was really, really good. And I liked that it felt updated and everyone held their own. There was no characters that I thought were lacking, like cast wise, like their performances. I didn't think there were any performances of the main cast that I thought was lacking.
I felt like Gretchen maybe a little bit, but like I don't want to put that out in the world, so maybe not. Also, I did want to side note, Gretchen in the musical on Broadway was originated by Ashley Parks. She was Asian. And in this movie, the actress is white passing, but they give a little nod to her Cuban heritage by saying her abuelita gave her something. So I do love that they do that attention to the diversity as well. And casting Karen as a South Asian woman is so fresh and unique. And the actress said that she had so much fun with that, because that is not the kind of role that women from India typically get. They usually get the opposite, right? They're too smart. So for her to get to be this ditz is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
The makeup and costumes, I mentioned it before. I just thought it was really smartly done, the way that they elevated it up for the current generations. And like nothing that I saw felt out of place.
Yeah. The makeup, really, I was so impressed by the makeup.
And even though the makeup's really good, or like Renee's outfits are like, who the fuck is wearing that to high school? At the same time, I'm like, people are growing up with social media and growing. Like, I've seen girls at Sephora be 13 years old asking for chemical peels. So you know that there are girls that are like going to high school with really nice makeup and really nice outfits.
Yeah, there is this girl at the groomers who, she's there every time at the front desk when I drop Toby off. And she must be 19, like she's young, still not high school, but not far removed from high school. And the way she does her makeup is so similar. So I'm like, people that age are doing that. Like, she always has like face stickers and jewels, and like it's for her job to work at a dog grooming office, and she's wearing makeup like that. And it's like completely normal. So when I saw them have like jewels in high school and things like that in this show, I'm like, yeah, I think high schoolers are wearing that to high school. Like, that is happening.
The makeup and costumes and casting also were just like the gayest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's why I'm wearing my gay shirt today. We have openly gay people. In Renee's new song with Megan Thee Stallion, she says, "Can a gay girl get an amen?" So people were like, oh, so Regina is gay. And she was like, yes. Just absolutely adored it. Renee glows. Renee Rapp, I was like, she's too much for this movie. Like, she just stands out, but also that's perfect for Regina.
Yes.
I also was kind of surprised that she did come back to it, because I know that she's talked a lot about how being Regina on Broadway at 19, when she had eating disorder issues and like body issues, really like was a struggle for her. So I was surprised that she was so like willing to come back to the project, but I'm glad that she did.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else in a similar age range as her could do that role as well.
Yeah.
Like, she really does just embody that role.
And part of why I put the ages when we went through it is because watching it, I thought this cast actually looks kind of age appropriate. Whereas if you think about it, Lindsay Lohan was like high school appropriate, but Rachel McAdams was like 35.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay Lohan's the youngest of the cast and she's like 35 now, and the rest of them are like 45. And like the little updates I wanted to mention that I noticed, I'm sure there were like countless others. There's the therapy speak, the I still have unresolved trauma and her love language. There's a lot more diversity. And then also I noticed the line when Mr. Duval pulls the fire alarm. In the original, he says, "I did not leave the South Side for this." And in this one, he says, "I did not go to grad school for this," which felt like an elevation away from like stereotypes of Black characters.
Yes.
And also, they got rid of the whole Coach Carr sleeping with 2 of the underage girls plot line. It just was like smart. Well done.
Yeah, the updates they made felt very, very appropriate for the times, but also, yes, removed the things that it's like, we didn't need to include that in 2004, and we definitely don't need to include it in something more modern. This just made me want to go see the musical. There were things that they did that were so musical-esque that I really appreciated that made me want to go see it more. Some of the things that I noted was the set design. Specifically, I thought it was really cool in the Africa scenes. The background is like still and it looks painted, so it looks like a set. And also the very like cheesy moments they have when Katie is singing her good at math, bad at love song. She's swinging on a swing in class with her ensemble all around her with their faces like against her shoulder. And I really liked that. It felt like a stage production. Like they didn't shy away from that, which I loved.
I get what you're saying. It's not a filming of the stage production, but it kind of felt there were those elements included in it. Yeah.
That give you the same feelings when you're watching a stage production.
Yeah.
Because they made the ensemble cast do really like cheesy things that I think people would shy away from in a movie normally, even in a musical movie, but it made it feel like a musical.
I've seen the musical. I had a great time. It's not my favorite Broadway show I've ever seen. Mean Girls was a solid show to watch. I remember enjoying it more than I expected to for being a movie adaptation musical. And I saw it before Sabrina Carpenter went on because Sabrina Carpenter was supposed to do a limited run. She did a super limited run because she did like 2 shows and then COVID shut down Broadway as Katie. And I unfortunately did not get to see Renee Rapp. So I saw Kayleen Fu, who was since September of 2019. She was the understudy for both Regina and Gretchen. But that was really cool because she did a great job and she's Asian. She's mixed Asian. And it was like so fun to see a commanding person of color playing Regina. Like, every take on this makes it a little fresher.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I just I don't know, I liked it. I thought they did a really good job and that people shouldn't be scared of bad reviews.
Yeah. I wasn't scared of the critics' reviews. It was that the normal person also gave it bad reviews, which I was like, that was just shocking. Yeah, I don't think it deserves that. Well, as Amanda mentioned in the beginning, up next, we're getting back into Sweet Life, baby, back into our OG content. We're finishing out the end of season 2, and then we'll get started with season 3. All of our Young Royals remix content babies, we hope you stay around. Please rate and review. It really helps us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, follow us on all of our social medias, 90s Babies Nostalgia, spell out the word 90s on YouTube and on Instagram, but on TikTok, use the numbers there. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.